What's up guys, it's Jwill, and I've been in the music game for about 2 years. And one of the most asked questions I see on the internet is how to make a sustainable income as a music producer. I'm not quite to that level yet where I'm making a sustainable income, but I do make my fair share of money in the music game. And I want to help you guys out to get to where you want to be. So hopefully my tips will help you out. Let's get into it. So how do you reach that sustainable income? If you ask me, I would start with selling beats. I sell on BeatStars, but I might move over to like TrackTrain, or maybe I'll just make my own website because BeatStars has been just doing some weird stuff, honestly. But pretty much if you want to sell beats, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. You got to build up your audience on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube if you want. You can do reels, you can do shorts, and you can just do regular TikToks. Obviously, just post your beats. You can make some funny videos like what I do on TikTok. I sprinkle in funny videos, I sprinkle in regular beat videos. I do a bunch of different content to spice it up. I do some like content where it makes the viewer think a little bit, and then I just mix that all in and then market my beats while mixing in some funny stuff to keep everybody engaged. And most of selling beats just comes down to your talent. Nobody's gonna buy if you're a bad producer. Obviously you need marketing, but marketing is much more important once you get up to the skill level where people will actually want to buy your stuff. And people will actually start hitting you up instead of you having to reach out. And then once you get people hitting you up and you're also reaching out and you're building up all these platforms and you're doing all these things, it'll be a pretty good cycle. It might not make you a millionaire, but it has brought me a decent amount of money. So I think it's a good method to start out with. Actually, before I move on, one method I want to recommend that you use while you sell beats is you pretty much go through Instagram and then you'll start to get some ads. I forgot exactly how you get these ads. I think you kind of just have to like a lot of music stuff, and then they'll start showing you ads of artists promoting their music. And then basically you just look at some of those ads and you just support those artists, and you just like be a real person. Don't be a bot. Don't just try to sell beats to them like the first DM you send them. Just support people, and not even just the people who are doing ads, but just artists, just all around. Just support artists. Getting a little bit off track, but I think you guys kind of get what I'm going at, is that you get artists who are making ads. Obviously, those are the people who are more likely to buy your beats because they're paying for the ads and they're paying Instagram to show you those ads. So you really want to target those people. But then it's also good to target the people who aren't exactly just showing ads, and maybe you go across TikTok and you just support people and you come across as a real person, and then maybe months later you try to sell them some stuff, maybe discount it. Say your beats are $30, say, okay, maybe I'll put it down to $15 for you. If you actually fuck with them, like, you don't have to be a robot. Like, if you actually mess with their music, you can cut your beat price in half and just give them some beats like that, and then it'll make them want to come back to you. And you just want to be aware that you're not just like a robot just trying to sell beats. You gotta be aware to be a real person and just be in that in between where you're still pushing, selling your beats, but you're also making deals with people. You're also getting out there. You're also being a real person who's actually supporting people, and you're just playing that field and playing your cards right. All right, number 2 is mixing vocals. This has actually worked out really well for me because I've realized that a lot less people can mix vocals effectively and have the capability to do so. Well, people who sell beats, there's just a lot of people who sell beats, but people who mix vocals, there's a lot less people. So what I'm getting at is that if you really learn how to mix vocals, you really put in the time, you really care about it, you really buy those, I'm not sure if you call them effect plugins, but you buy like the auto-tune, you buy like the good reverbs, you buy like the good mastering plugins, and you put in the time to learn it, you'll really get good at it, just like selling beats. And if you're already good at selling beats, well, then you can take your prowess from selling beats and leverage it to sell your vocal mixing. And maybe you can put in a deal where you say, okay, I'll sell you this beat for, say somebody doesn't want to buy your beat full price, but you still want to sell it, you still are down to sell it. So you say, okay, I'll sell you this beat, but I'll mix your vocals on the track with my beat. Then you can use both skill sets to make the money you want to make. Now, if you don't want to sell yourself short like that, you don't have to. I'm not saying that, but there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different sales you can make and a lot of different combinations you can make to get that sale. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do it, but it's definitely a strategy that works. And say you just keep building up your skills, so you're a good beat maker and you're a good vocal mixer. Maybe you turn into a really good master, you get all the equipment you need for that, and you just keep building up your skills. You're gonna become a more valuable person and you're gonna be able to make more money. That's kind of how it works. It's supply and demand. Number 3 is royalties. So royalties, I think most of you guys probably know what royalties are. You basically get paid from Spotify or Apple Music based on how many streams you have. If you're a producer like me, you'll have a split with the artist, so I'll probably cut that money in half. But to go over what the numbers are, on Spotify it takes around 200 to 400 streams to get $1. I know it's a very broad range, but I couldn't really find a more specific number, so I think it just varies from artist to artist for some sort of reason. And then for Apple Music, it's actually a lot more favorable. It's only like 136, but you gotta keep in mind that less people use Apple Music, so it's not really gonna earn you that much money. So this next method, number 4, is one that I really want to prioritize in the future. It's selling loops, one-shots, presets, and drum kits. And the reason I bunch these together is because they're very similar and they use a similar tactic. Number 5 actually uses a similar tactic to these, but I'm gonna get to that one later. And the way I see this method working is you have to actually build up your social media first. So get to a level like where I'm at, and that's why I wanna pursue it. And you build your credibility as a producer, as a mixer, as a whatever you're really good at. And you say, okay, I'm a good producer, right? I'm regarded as a good producer. People have bought my stuff, I've released music, like anything you can do to help yourself out, to make yourself more professional looking, and then more people will probably buy it. Especially, you also want to think about the graphic you put on like the loop kit. You want to make everything look professional. The way I see a lot of people marketing these loop kits and all these things is the way you would market an album if you're a smaller artist. And that's through TikTok promotion, through Instagram ads, through any of those other social media ads you might think of. And the reason this is so enticing to me is because you're targeting your core audience. So your core audience is producers. It's not rappers. The people who like those funny videos, a lot of the people who comment on those beats, a lot of people who really appreciate what you do and pick apart what you do are producers. They're not rappers. And for all these other things, you're selling to rappers. But with this method, you're actually selling to your core audience, and that's why I think it works so well. A good idea too is with whatever kit you're gonna make, you probably wanna drop a free version of that kit, just a smaller version, to even if you're established, you still wanna show people what you're about and what you can do in this avenue. And then once people get your full trust, then you can drop some kits, maybe price them low, and then as you drop more and more kits, then you price them a little higher. And you can also do things like bundles. Once you make a lot of kits, you say you make 10 kits and they're $100 altogether, each of them is $10, then maybe you cut it in half and you say you can get all 10 of these kits for only $50, and you do things like that. I see a lot of bundles, a lot of producers who make things really cheap in bundles once they just make a ton of loops, a ton of drum kits, a ton of one-shots, whatever you make, presets, banks, serum banks, whatever you make, then you can bundle them, bring the price down, and then people are more likely to buy it because it is a better deal. Number 5 is the Kiwi method. Now, if you don't know who that is, just look up Prod KXVI on Instagram, and this dude goes crazy with tons of producer stuff. I'm really calling it stuff because it's just so many things. There's so many things that he does. He actually inspired this video too because he makes a lot of content on how to make money. And I was looking at his elements of R&B kit, and I literally had to make a list of all the things he was selling. All right, so he's selling MIDI in this kit. He's selling a drum kit. He's selling samples. He's selling vocals, loops, banks, starters. Really anything you can think of, this dude is selling it. So he's really taking it to the extreme, but I commend him for what he's doing, because everybody just wants to blow up with an artist. Everybody just wants to be the big producer. Everybody wants to be the Pierre Bourne to the Playboy Cardi, but not everybody's gonna get there. Not everybody's gonna have that one big smash hit. So I really respect this method because it's really hard to mess up if you put in the work and you build up your fan base or your followers or whatever, and you just sell to your own audience and build up your brand. And that's really it. I hope this video got you thinking, and I hope this video helped you out and open your eyes to all the different ways you can make money and all the different ways you can build up your brand and get to where you want to be on that stable income as a producer. Because for me and many others, this isn't just a hobby. I want this to be my life. And even if you don't, maybe if you just want it as a side hustle, these will still help you out if you put in the work, put in the consistency, and just pick one of these things and try it out. Even if you have no followers, no following, I believe in you guys because we've all been there. And if you're watching videos like this, you're probably on the right path. So keep it going. See you guys. Peace.